Ethan Walker was an ordinary young man living in bustling New York City. At 25, he worked as a graphic designer, spending his days perfecting visuals and his nights scrolling aimlessly through social media. He often felt his life lacked excitement, but everything changed one fateful Friday evening when he met Mia Carter. They crossed paths at a cozy coffee shop on 3rd Avenue. Ethan had accidentally spilled his coffee, and Mia, seated at the next table, had handed him a stack of napkins with a warm smile. She was stunning, with wavy auburn hair and piercing green eyes. Their conversation started naturally, and within minutes, Ethan found himself captivated by her charm and wit. Over the next few weeks, they became inseparable. Mia seemed perfect, smart, funny, and adventurous. Ethan couldn't believe his luck. They shared deep conversations, endless laughter, and even a few intimate moments that made Ethan feel like he was living in a dream. But little did he know, this dream would soon turn into a nightmare. One evening, as they sat together on Ethan's couch, Mia's phone buzzed incessantly. She glanced at it, her face briefly flashing with an unreadable expression. "Work stuff," she said, brushing it off. Ethan thought nothing of it. A week later, Mia's demeanor began to shift. She seemed distant, her warm smiles replaced by guarded looks. Then came the message. Ethan's phone buzzed late one night. It was a text from an unknown number. When he opened it, his heart sank. It was a series of photos and videos from their private moments together. Along with them came a chilling message. "If you don't want these going public, you'll transfer $10,000 to this account by tomorrow." Ethan's mind raced. He couldn't believe Mia was behind this, but the evidence was damning. She was nowhere to be found. Panicked, he wired the money, hoping it would end there. But it didn't. A week later, another demand arrived, this time for $15,000. Realizing he couldn't sustain this, Ethan decided to dig deeper. He began following Mia's social media and piecing together her patterns. What he discovered was horrifying. Mia wasn't working alone. She had a boyfriend, a man named Jake, who operated in the shadows. Together, they had been running this scam for 2 years, targeting people like Ethan, vulnerable, lonely individuals who feared public humiliation. As Ethan delved further, he uncovered more victims. Mia and Jake chose their prey carefully, ensuring they were individuals with reputations to protect. Ethan's initial shock gave way to determination. He knew he couldn't fight this alone. Late one night, Ethan posted anonymously on an online forum, recounting his story. Within hours, replies began to flood in. Other victims emerged from the shadows. Mark, a divorced father whose life savings had been drained. David, a school teacher who feared for his career. And Aaron, a shy IT technician who'd been assaulted when he refused to pay. Together, they formed a group, an alliance of the betrayed. Their first step was sharing their stories in detail, piecing together Mia and Jake's tactics. Each victim had been approached with precision and care, their weaknesses exploited with ruthless efficiency. It was clear the couple had been running a well-oiled operation, and it wasn't just the two of them. Another name kept coming up. Ryan, an enforcer who intimidated victims into submission. David, the school teacher, had a cousin in law enforcement, Detective Carla Ramirez. Though Carla couldn't officially get involved without evidence, she provided invaluable advice. "You need proof," she said. "If you can record conversations, track their movements, or gather financial records, we can build a case." Mark, who had a background in cybersecurity, took the lead in gathering digital evidence. He began tracking the couple's online activity, discovering a trail of fake profiles, offshore accounts, and encrypted messages. Meanwhile, Ethan decided to confront his fear head-on. He agreed to set up another meeting with Mia under the pretense of paying her demands. The meeting took place at a secluded diner. Ethan wore a recording device, his heart pounding as he faced Mia. She played her part well, her voice sweet and manipulative. "Ethan, you know I never wanted it to come to this," she said, feigning regret. "Just one more payment and we'll never bother you again." Outside, Mark and Aaron were parked in a nearby car, monitoring the situation. With each passing moment, more incriminating evidence was being recorded. Mia's phone buzzed repeatedly, and Mark's hack revealed messages from Jake and Ryan, discussing their next moves. "We've got enough," Aaron whispered, his hands trembling with adrenaline. The team had coordinated with Detective Ramirez, who had alerted local authorities. Police cars surrounded the diner as Mia's face twisted from confidence to panic. Ethan leaned back in his chair, his voice steady as he said, "It's over, Mia." Outside, Jake and Ryan sat in a car, oblivious to the unfolding sting. Mark had tracked their vehicle's location and relayed it to the police. Within minutes, officers moved in, arresting them before they could react. Jake's bravado evaporated as he realized the extent of their exposure. In the following weeks, the fallout was extensive. Mia, Jake, and Ryan faced multiple charges, including extortion, assault, and conspiracy. Victims from across the city came forward, emboldened by Ethan and his group's courage. The media dubbed them the scam survivors, turning their ordeal into a rallying cry for others who had suffered in silence. For Ethan, the experience was life-altering. He'd faced his darkest fears and come out stronger. But more importantly, he'd found a purpose. He began volunteering at support groups, helping others navigate the aftermath of scams and abuse. The friendships he'd forged with Mark, David, and Aaron became a source of strength, their shared trauma evolving into a bond of resilience. One evening, as Ethan stood outside the courthouse watching Mia being led away in handcuffs, he felt a deep sense of closure. The pain they'd inflicted could never be erased, but justice had been served. Life slowly returned to normal, but Ethan was no longer the same. What had started as a chance encounter at a coffee shop had spiraled into a harrowing journey. But in the end, he'd turned his pain into power. He proved that even in the darkest moments, hope and justice could prevail, lighting the way for others to follow.